.3 The Ox, real country variety, and then some. Little double D for you, Daryl died there. And if you're into outlaw, good for you. 8:28 on your Monday ride. Time for Coffee Talk, brought to you by the Comanche Chamber of Commerce and Agriculture. Check them out at #Explore Comanche, Texas. As we say good morning and welcome in Cynthia Newton from Hope Counseling. How we doing?
We are doing okay. It's Monday.
Well, now that didn't sound very convincing at all.
Well, you know, I'm getting older.
Oh, that's no excuse.
And my body tells on me when I try to do stuff
that,
you know, are necessary, but, plumbing is just not.
Oh, now we're getting down to the heart of the matter.
Plumbing is not in my area of expertise, I will
plumbing
say.
issues on the hacienda, huh?
Well, on the farm, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was a fun weekend.
Sounds like it.
And my body's like screaming. How old do
What
you
have
think
you done to me?
However, one of my children came out covered in mud from head to toe, so, you know, he had a lot of fun.
That was a good day. Yeah, that was great.
You know, I mean, they had a lot of fun. I don't know. I mean, they did do some work, I will say. I was very proud of them.
Yes.
They're growing into great little ranch hands, so
all right.
Anyway.
What are we talking about today?
Well, Halloween is coming up this weekend.
Absolutely.
And I think it's going to be a weekend of Halloween. The one thing about Halloween being on a Sunday, I've noticed, you know, in the past, is you just never know when trick-or-treating's going to happen.
Yeah, it could be Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
It's going to be a treat. And it is, like all the different communities are kind of doing different times and everything. That was not my phone. That was his.
That's right. This time.
This time, yeah.
Right.
Forget about last time. Sorry. Anyway, but no. One of the things we forget about when we have Halloween is the kids with special needs, and I really want to talk about that today because there's a lot of things that you can do, not only as a parent to help your child, but also as somebody that's giving out candy to kids. You know, for these kids with special needs, just to make it easier. So I wanted to talk about that today because Halloween's coming up this weekend and we're going to have kids trick-or-treating Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
For days.
And there's a lot of fall festivals going on this weekend too. So, you know, hey, just a plug. Just look in and see, because I guarantee you there's a lot going on, and if you want your kids to have candy, there is a lot going to be out there. And the dentists out there are going to be very happy when you bring them a bag of candy and trade it in.
4 out of 5 dentist survey recommend.
That's right.
Sugar daddies.
Okay, so first off, we talk about Halloween, and I mean, you got to remember it's a big holiday for kids, and they all want to participate. Okay, when we think of it, we think about kids running around trick or treating in the neighborhoods from house to house to collect candy. What about the children though that you think about with special needs? As well. So I want you to first start thinking about costumes. Okay, costumes that come out each year typically accommodate, and this is accommodate what you would consider normal children or children without special needs.
Right.
Okay, and I say normal for those of y'all that can't see me but can only hear me with quotes, because there's really not a normal. We all know that, right?
Yeah.
You know, but for children without special needs. Sure. Most recently this year, we saw the debut from some retailers with costumes for children who are in wheelchairs. So that was a great thing to start seeing.
That's awesome.
And while there are a wide variety of costumes ranging from blow-up costumes, masks, and face paints, there are a lot of other issues to consider. When you have a child with sensory issues who may be autistic or uses leg braces or a walker.
Right.
So, you know, finding that the costumes can be difficult. Yeah. So children can feel outcasted during this time because there are little to no options when it comes to special needs costumes. With the expansion of costumes for wheelchairs, that's going to hopefully be the start of other costumes that will be inclusive to other children with special needs. Now, the next thing we talk about, allergies.
Oh, boy.
You know, I mean, everywhere around us, you know, the schools are dealing with allergies, and how do they deal with that at the schools and whatever. And you're like, oh, it's Halloween. Who cares about allergies? Well, it can kind of be a big deal. Yeah. Okay, so what do we do? Well, first off, you've got the pandemic still playing a factor in today's society, so it's a good idea to bag up candy, have options for those who have allergies. Okay, so you might have the non-peanut option, or, you know, the regular option, or such as that. Right. One common allergy, of course, is peanuts. Some others include wheat, soy, nuts, and more. For those that have more severe allergies, instead of providing candy, you could pass out small toys instead, such as glow sticks, fun-themed pencils, or stickers, and I guarantee you your dentist will love you for that.
That's not job security.
But I mean, really, I mean, think outside the box. You know, it's not. It doesn't have to be candy. And I know that when I've taken my kids trick or treating, we've gotten like pencils, and I mean, they love those things because the candy's short lived. The pencils they can take with them, or you know, you might. I mean, I've seen people hand out Capri Suns or just little drinks, along the way, or just stuff like that. And that's a great thing. That's a great way to think outside the box from the candy. So just be aware that there are kids. There is a teal pumpkin project. I hadn't heard a lot about this, but it's starting to become more aware that it's basically where you'll signify that your house has stuff for kids that are allergy free by putting a teal pumpkin out. Oh. Okay. So, if you have a child that has allergies, watch for those teal pumpkins. Be aware that, hey, you know what, they specifically have stuff specified for kids. If you are handing out stuff that isn't, just get a teal pumpkin or paint a pumpkin teal colored or something. You've got a whole week, or almost. Now for us idiots, that's green. It's green blue. Okay. Blue green.
There you go.
Teal.
There you go.
Okay. Yes, but yeah. Or just Google it, and I'm sure you can find the color. Now, for those that are colorblind, that's a whole different scenario. So
we'll do checkers. Polka dotted.
So, remember, while it's important to recognize food allergies with children, we should also take into consideration children who have difficulty swallowing. Again, providing a substitute for candy, such as themed toys, would prevent a child from having to make a trip to an emergency room. Yeah. And I mean, I've remembered times like going around the square and, here in Comanche with my kids, and, you had, maybe they were handing stickers out or just different things that weren't candy, especially to the really young kids. Yeah. So just be aware. I mean, if you've got a baby or a 1-year-old or a 2-year-old coming to your house, I mean, just really be aware of, some of that. You might have your stuff kind of separated out, however you want to hand that out, but, you don't need to be the one putting something in a kid's hands that's going to cause injury. I mean, yes, the parents should be looking over their stuff too, but I mean, just be aware of all of that.
Like a 2-year-old and a Jolly Rancher hard candy.
Yeah, that would not be not a good combination. Right. So, how do you accommodate? How to prepare a child with sensory issues? So that's a big thing right now. I mean, really becoming more known and more aware of the sensory issues for Halloween. So while sudden movements, flashes of lights, or sounds can set those with sensory issues off in an unpleasant way, you got to remember all of that. So in order to ensure that you have a smooth night, it can be helpful to disable any sound or light that may trigger for your child. Okay, if your child has sensory issues, make sure you don't have flashing lights on them or something that's just going to set things off. Making a costume that can accommodate your child's needs will ensure that there will be no triggers with any sensory issues. There are still ways to make this holiday fun and also stay festive. So opting to trick or treat earlier on in the day, not necessarily waiting until dark, maybe at dusk or maybe whatever, may be better for children, as there will be less distractions and less people around, so that the child won't get overwhelmed by so many people around them. Okay. So if you are the person handing out candy, okay, this is some things that are good for you. Okay. So again, this is not just about the parents. This is about the people that are, hey, I'm handing out candy. Avoid using scary costumes when passing out candy. Okay. I know that's kind of like, well, this is Halloween, we're supposed to be scary, but try to avoid that, because especially kids with real hypersensitive or sensory issues, it can almost be, petrifying to the point that it, can be scarring for them, and or noises that might happen around them, or some of that. Try neutralizing your decorations so that the house doesn't seem intimidating to children. Now, parents, if you see a house, avoid that house. Yeah. You've got both sides of that. You can avoid taking your child to that house.
If you hear a bunch of screaming coming from down there,
just avoid that house for your children. Don't force the children, whether you're a parent or you're sitting there waiting, handing out kids. Please don't force the children to say trick or treat or to say thank you, because this can create anxiety for children who actually might be nonverbal, and you may not even know that they are nonverbal, but they can't say it, and so they can get overwhelmed. So don't just sit there and force them to say that, even though yes, we're supposed to say trick or treat. If a child doesn't, just please understand that may actually be a limitation that they have. Make sure that children can see your eyes and mouth clearly. So be careful about the masks. If you come to the door wearing a mask and they can't see your mouth or your eyes, that can also cause some anxiety, especially if they have speech or hearing problems, because they may not be able to, sense different things. So just be aware of that. And lastly, make sure to communicate with your child as a parent before and after their trick-or-treating. Make sure you address any needs, worries, or concerns before you start, and then again afterwards to address anything that they might have seen or heard while out. So again, be the parent, step up. Okay, is there anything that bothered you? Or hey, I know that this bothered you last year. What do we need to avoid this year for you? Make sure to go through your child's candy. Okay, I remember this as a kid. I mean, before we were allowed to eat candy, we went in the house, we dumped it all out, and my parents went through it, and you toss out anything that might be open. Especially, I mean, even if you're not worried about poisons or things like that, hey, I live in a small community, that might not ever happen, or drugs, but trust me, it can.
Yeah.
But you're still dealing with a pandemic out there.
Yeah.
I mean, you need to be aware of that too. So anything that might be open, throw it away. I promise you, your kids are not going to hate you for throwing away some candy that's not safe for them. It's better to be cautious than not take that extra step. So throw away anything that might be open or suspicious, and also anything that might cause an allergy for your child if you weren't able to take care of that while trick-or-treating. So just some pointers. I mean, some of this for a lot of people is probably common sense, but, just some pointers and some reminders as Halloween's coming up this weekend. Be safe out there.
Sure.
You just don't know who's around and what's going on. And, I mean, just be safe. Be aware of your surroundings. Help your kids understand. Guys, watch out for trick-or-treaters because it's going to be happening Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So it's not just Sunday this year, I guarantee you. I mean, this is what happens every year. Every time Halloween falls on a Sunday, you have communities doing trick-or-treating at different times.
And those little dumplings are not at all focused on traffic or watching across the street. They're thinking candy.
Absolutely.
Candy.
So just be aware of what's going on around you and watch out for the kiddos and enjoy it and, bring me some candy on Monday. No, just kidding.
Yeah, we got back and there'd be all these empty wrappers. They'd be like, Mom, well, it looked dangerous.
I wonder
half of it?
It out. Yeah. Anyway, but as always, guys, we're here at Hope Counseling of Texas. Just a reminder. I mean, we've got 4 offices: Comanche, Dublin, Eastland, and Hamilton. I almost said Hamlin. I'm not really sure where that came from because I sure don't have an office there. But Comanche, Dublin, Eastland, and Hamilton. 325-356-1105. If there's anything that we can do to help you navigate, you're fixing to get into the holidays. All sorts of things are coming up. We're getting midpoint through the first semester. Kids are starting to really buckle down in school. So, kids, parents, adults, anything we can do to help. 325-356-1105. Hope Counseling in Texas.
All right, just out of curiosity, put you on the spot. What are your little guys dressing as? Do they have it together yet?
Yes.
Okay, what do we?
They have it together.
Yeah.
The youngest is Lego Batman.
Oh man, that's awesome.
The middle child, as he always calls himself, I'm the middle child.
Right.
Is I think an Air Force guy or a mixture of Air Force guy, SWAT team guy, something. It's complex.
Okay, yeah.
And then the oldest is dressing up like a gangster.
All right.
We were going to do a Wild West sheriff, and then he saw that, and he was like, no, I want to be. I was like, okay. I like the sheriff. I like the good side, but,
right.
I mean, we could always put a badge on you, similar costume.
He's undercover.
Anyway, so, yeah, that's what my kids are separating. Decorating, or dressing up as. Whatever. Oh, my gosh.
Told you I was going to put you on the spot.
But I actually knew what my kids were.
Yeah, you did. I knew you would, or I wouldn't have put you there. Cynthia Newton with Hope Counseling. Thanks
all
for
right,
stopping
see you
by.
next Monday. Thanks.
Gather all your little pumpkin eaters and come.
Yeah, I figured they were already on that.